Hey there, today we're going to take a look at the edit view and program settings in Guroo Academy. I'm currently on my homepage, but I'm going to head to Programmer Admin and I'm going to head to a program that I've already created to show you what an existing program will look like. Now I'm opened in Edit View. As you can see, we've got three views. We've got Edit View, which is where we'll spend most of our time today. We've got the Deliver view, which will be used by your course facilitators and administrators. And we've got the Learn view, which gives you an idea of what your learners will see. This view here provides an overview of the program as a whole. You can see details about delivery dates, location, time zone, etc. Also from here, you can easily copy the URL or the enrollment URL for the program. You can add in any tags to categorize your programs, any grading information, badges, and any enrollments that you've got so far. To update any of these settings or to set them up in the first place, you'll go to Program Settings. Under Program Settings, you'll find a few different tabs where you can configure your course. Here you can add in your name, the delivery mode, whether it's a free course, a paid course. There's also a no payment required option. That might be useful if you're running in-house programs, for example, where they may be free to the learner, but they're not entirely free to the organization. You can have your start and end dates, whether you want the program to be graded or non-graded, the location, which you can choose from your address book if you've already set up the address, or add in a custom one if this is a one-off location. And then down the bottom you have a few toggles. The Lock Classroom toggle means that you can prevent learners from accessing the program until a certain amount of time beforehand. For example, if I was running a course on the 1st of March and I didn't want learners to come in and access right away, I wanted to leave it until a little bit closer to the actual program, I might put a date towards the end of February in here. This toggle over here, onboarding while locked, you can select whether you'd like the onboarding to be available to learners while the program's still locked, whether you want just the welcome message, or whether you want nothing at all. I personally like to have the onboarding available while locked. I think this gives the learners a peek of what's to come, answers some questions that they might have about the program, and sets them up for success when they're ready to get learning. You can also include a custom message here about the locked classroom. The Access Close toggle is used to close access to the program once the program has finished. Depending on your course, you may leave access open for a period of time after the course, and you can just set up which date you would like it to be closed off. The final toggle on here is Limit Seats. If you have a limit to how many people you could fit in your room or your webinars, for example, you'd want to capture that here. Over on the right-hand side, we've got our program status. When you first build your program, it will be in draft. You'll change it to active so that learners can enroll in the course. If you no longer require the course, you may want to archive it. And of course, if the course is cancelled, we've got the cancelled status as well. In terms of program category, these categories can be set up by your organization. So for example, you might have a category for leadership programs and another category for, I don't know, technical skills. You can have them tagged accordingly. This will be helpful when it comes to reporting on your programs. You can include program codes and reference codes if that's helpful to you and your organization. And you can also pop in some program tags. Then we'll head over to configuration. This is where you set up what you would like turned on and off within your Academy program. On the configuration screen, we've got the program domain, the region, and the time zone that the course is taking place in. We can then toggle on or off certain areas of the program. To show you each of these setup toggles, I'll just jump over to the relevant sections. So we'll begin with dashboards. Dashboards are accessible from the Deliver tab, and they'll show you any learner data or reporting for your program. You'll be able to see your learner progress, diagnostic progress, dietary requirements, and so on. The learner portfolio is available under the Learn tab, down on the left-hand side. This is made up of all of the tasks that the learners will complete throughout the program. So as you can see in this program, we've got a few different short response tasks. The learner's response to each of these tasks would be collated in the portfolio, which they can refer back to later, or they can print to generate a PDF version. The next toggle is the task feed. So task feed is over here. This will be a feed of any tasks that have been completed by learners and shared with the rest of the group. We've also got the comments feed, also known as the discussion feed, which contains any discussion items that have happened. For posts and discussion, we've got posts and announcements turned on. This allows facilitators and course administrators to create announcements to share with the group. And you can also toggle on whether or not you want to allow learners to create their own discussions. The next toggle is the program homepage. As you can see from the learner point of view, this gives them some key information about the course. They can see how far they've progressed in the course, the badge that they're working towards. They'll be able to see other participants in their cohort, new resources, and some coaching information as well. If you'd like to turn the calendar on, this will show any face-to-face or webinar sessions, as well as any due dates that you might have for your program. Learners can click to download these to their calendar, or they can print them to create a PDF. Next up, we've got the Resources tab. You can set up whether you'd like this turned on or not. Basically, this is where all of the resources from your course are categorized into different types and in one location, so they don't need to work their way back through the course to find where that interesting document was. You can also include on the program homepage a widget for any new resources. This is helpful if you've got resources coming up throughout the program that are being added, as this will show you the last 5 uploaded resources. Next, we've got the Cohort tab, also known as the Community tab. This is where your course participants can share their bios and information with each other to meet other learners in the program. The Onboarding tab can be best seen from the edit view. So if we come over here, we've got Onboarding. We'll go through this in a little bit more detail, but for now, here's where you toggle it on. Next, we've got our program wrap-up. This is a little section you can have at the end of your program to tie off any loose ends, congratulate your learners, maybe share a little wrap-up video, and give them any information that they need to finalize the program. And last but not least, we've got the option to turn on the dietary report. The dietary report can be found on your program dashboards under dietary requirements here. That's very useful for catering for face-to-face programs. All right, let's head back to the configuration tab. So we're over in program settings, then configuration. So we've just been through each of these toggles. The program homepage we've mentioned, so that's that one view of the overall program. You can decide which roles you'd like that turned on for. A couple of other settings on here. With the calendar invite download, you can select individual sessions, so each individual session will be a separate meeting invite, or you can group them by day. You can also select whether you'd like to attach those calendar invites to their enrollment emails, or whether you'd like them to come into the platform to access those. Program type. By default, your program type will be multi-page. That means it consists of a number of different pages like we've got down here. If you do have a relatively straightforward course though, you might want to use the single page option. That removes any page navigation down the side and just keeps everything in one view. At the bottom of the configuration screen, we've got the program banner, which you can upload here. There's a thumbnail, and you can also include a description as well. The program banner will be visible on the top of the screen, and the program thumbnail will be visible from the learner's homepage or from the catalogue. Under the self-enrollment tab, we've got a few different options. So you can select direct enrollment, meaning that learners do not need to apply for the course. Anyone who enrolls in the course is welcome. Or we've got the option for application only. Application only courses require the learner to complete an application, and then that application will be reviewed and approved before they can come into the program. You may want to set a last enrollment date to make sure that you get all your learners enrolled ahead of the program. The direct share link is a URL you can generate which allows users to register themselves. You can turn on whether you want to require sponsor detail collection. This may be useful for communication, coaching, and so on. Under direct enrollment settings, you can enable team enrollment. That means that purchasers can purchase more than one seat in a program at a time. You may want to limit the number of people from one team you have on a program, which you can do by this toggle here. Next, we've got the catalogue listing. You can either assign the program to an existing catalogue listing, or you can create a new listing. We'll just take a quick look at listings. Here's a preview of the catalogue listing screen. As you can see, it's got some key information about the program, what they'll learn, how they'll learn, the learning journey itself, program team, FAQs, and so on. So all of the settings for your catalogue listing will be set up here. So I can select which catalogue listing I'd like to display this program on. I can also select whether I want to list the different sessions on the catalogue page, or whether I want to promote the program on the catalogue. If I promote the program on the catalogue and you're using the internal catalogue feature, you'll be able to see this on the front screen. For program inquiries, you can enable an email address. This would sometimes be a centralized email or a shared inbox. This is somewhere where learner inquiries or buyer inquiries will come if they have any questions. Language, in most cases this will be English, and if you're using multilingual for your programs, you'll need to turn this on. Under the tools screen, we've got a couple of tools. One of these is the program Shift Dates tool. This is very handy for if your course dates shift out. It means that you can shift all of the program dates at once to a different date. The Content Replace tool is where you can replace content from this program with content from a different program. In this case, my program's already active, so I can't replace the content on the go. Group work settings. If your program has groups, you would set that up here. So for example, in this program, we've got activity groups. Other groups might include study groups or project groups. You can have more than one group type in a course. So you would add those group types here. You can also turn on auto group allocation, which will assign learners evenly to different groups. Otherwise, you can manually assign them to groups. Under the Badges tab, you can add in any badges that you're going to award on completion of the program. So you can set how the badge is awarded, either once the learner has completed all the required aspects of the program, or you can assign them manually. To add a badge, just click on Add Badge and then select the relevant badge. Alternatively, you can add a new badge. Here's where you upload the image, title, description, key skills, and information. We do also have the option to import a badge from Credly. So if you use Credly and you've connected your accounts, you can do that via the import. You can choose whether to allocate points to the badge. This is useful if you are collecting CPD points or your learners are collecting points towards a larger qualification. You can add in any expiry information and how many points will be allocated. Lastly, you can toggle on or off whether you want that badge to be able to be shared on LinkedIn. We'd recommend where possible that you do allow sharing, as this can be a little bit of subtle advertising for your course. We've got social learning, which is where you can set up your social media groups. So we've got two different types. We've got enable the program group, and we've also got enable the alumni group. So you can have two different types of groups. The program group would be a group that is for the duration of the program. It's an opportunity for people on the program to meet and network with each other. Whereas the alumni group would be an ongoing group that you add all of the cohorts of your program to after program completion. You can choose to run these via LinkedIn or WhatsApp. You can add in a QR code or a link based on what is easiest for you and your learners. And lastly, under the program settings, we've got our emails. This is where you can review and modify any of the emails that go out in relation to your course. So we've got them categorized by the part of the learning journey. So application emails, enrollment emails, any emails related to finance, to learning, and settings. Under here, you can customize your header and footer, as well as this display name for the email address. With the emails themselves, you can edit, which will bring up the window where you can modify the text. You do also have some variables. If you are adding variables to your emails, just a tip, make sure you copy and paste them from here instead of typing them to make sure that they retain the correct information. And that's our overview of program settings.